Click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? The Nothing But Niners crew is back, and today, guys, it's another crossover edition. We have the enemy in the building, but before we get to all that, we have to go through some quick formalities so we can get the show started, all right? If this is your first time here on the YouTube page, we want to thank you guys. If you enjoyed the show, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and more importantly, turn on those notifications. I know it doesn't say it down there. That's the only way you're going to know when we're going live for impromptu shows like breaking news and halftime shows, all right? So make sure those notifications are turned on. Hit us up on a couple of our social media pages. We have Twitter and Snapchat. Those handles are Nothing But 9 ERS, the number 9, Nothing But 9 ERS. We have Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitch. That is Nothing But Niners, all right? And it's the same as the website,
www.nothingbutniners.com.
Underscore. What happened? What did I say?
You froze for a second there.
Oh, damn. See, I gotta plug it in then. I'll plug in really quick. I'm your guy, 49ers Mike _ NFL. Above me over here is my guy, Nick, 49er Faithful 365. And then we got RB Ryan representing Philly over here, man. Guys, what's going on? Are you guys pumped for this battle or what? What's up, man?
You want me to take it first? You want me to take it first? Look, man, I'm excited to be in the building. First and foremost, shout out to my guys Nick and Mike for bringing me up in here. This is the best Niners channel on YouTube. I really do appreciate it. But I'm scared to tell you and all of 49er Nation, look, man, the Eagles got to win one this week. So we're ready. We're in the building, man. Shout out to all the Eagles fans up in here, too. I told them to come.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat, man. I expect a little hostile situation. Now, listen, Nick and I are both close to Philly. I'm in PA. I'm in Bucks County. I'm right outside Northeast Philly. I know how they can get, man. And let me tell you, I love the passion of Philadelphians, man. It is a passion unmatched by anybody else except probably Cleveland fans. So other than them, Philly and Cleveland fans, those guys get at it, and they're loyal to the soil, man. So it is incredible. But we thank you for jumping on here with us, man. And listen, guys, I want to get down to it, but I want to hear from my guy Nick before I say anything else, man. How are you feeling up there? I know you guys did another show, but, I mean, our people haven't seen it. Talk to us, man. What's up?
What up, Mike? Good to see you, baby. Look, man, I'm excited for this game, man. Like you said, we just did another crossover video on Ryan's channel, and that is Philly take with RB. So if you guys go over there and check that out, I'll put up a banner as well once I get a second here. But guys, go over there and check him out as well. And like and subscribe to his channel as well and see what's going on. We got to all support each other here on YouTube. You know how it all goes. But look, man, I'm super excited about this game. But you know, Ryan just touched on it a little bit, man. This is a must-win game for the Niners, right? We just talked about this last week, Mike. Is last week's game a must-win for the Niners, right? Going into MetLife Stadium and facing the Giants. So it's going to be fun and exciting, man. And I can't wait to hear what he has to say, as well as you have to say. And, let's go from there, man.
All right, so both of these teams are all banged up, right? Everyone's injured. We all know that. The Niners are going to be without their starting quarterback again. They get some reinforcements off of the bench. But listen, man, let's start with this, right? I have more of a negative take from a 49ers perspective. So I'm going to play the bad guy on this one. Ryan will probably like that. Nick is going to hate me. And the chat is going to hate me. But I'll redeem myself in the next show. But listen, here's the thing, man, right? When a dog is backed into a corner, the options are taken off the table, okay? The Philadelphia Eagles are literally backed into a corner. And here's the crazy thing, right? As much as I'm saying that, they have everything to win. They could win this game, and they can be in first place.
Yeah, they can be first place in the NFC East.
Did I freeze again?
Yeah.
Damn, man. I'm sorry. I did connect it, so maybe it was jumping in there. If it happens again, let me know. I'll back out and refresh. But the Eagles have their backs against the corner, right? They have nothing to lose, and they have everything to gain. Carson Wentz is playing at an all-time low. Terry, I'm doing it, Danny. I'm doing it, man. Listen, Carson Wentz is playing at an all-time low, and I'm going to be the first one to tell you, it's not sustainable. There's going to be a point where this guy bounces back, and why not against the team with their first, second, and third corners out? I'm going to shut up. I want to hear you guys respond to it. You guys have fun with it up there. Whichever one of you guys want to go first.
I'm going to let Ryan go first on this one.
Well, Mike, I'm glad you're coming to the good side, man. I thought that was an awesome take. Let me tell you, man, you're right. Carson Wentz, this is what we have seen this far in a sample size from Carson Wentz is not Carson Wentz. This guy usually throws about 7 to 8 interceptions a year. He's thrown 6 already. He's turned the ball over 2 times every single game. and I'm getting tired of it. Doug Peterson's getting exposed. People are calling for Doug's job already. Carson, you know how Philadelphia is, man. Look, we are going to have to not only get Carson Wentz going, but establish the run. Miles Sanders is that guy. I'm telling you, from a Philly fan, you guys know you're in the area. Miles Sanders is that dude. Give him the ball. He's rushed for almost 100 yards the last couple weeks, 95 yards. Why are we holding this guy back? Doug Peterson tried to say it was fatigue. No, it wasn't fatigue. You got out of your element. You tried to bring your inner Andy Reid out. No, run the ball, open up the play action, and let Carson hit one downfield. Now, we only had one wide receiver practice yesterday, which was absolutely ridiculous. But I'm hoping we get a couple guys back. I'm hoping we get a few back, and I'm ready. Carson has to have a good game, or else you're going to hear Jalen Hurts throughout the city for the entire week.
I got before Nick jumps in. You said it. I wasn't going to mention it yet, but you said you guys had one wide receiver practice. Now I'm curious. Was it literally one wide receiver on the field all practice, or like what does that mean? I can't fathom this, so that's why I'm asking. Yesterday,
we literally had one wide receiver healthy practicing, and that was Greg Ward Jr., who has been a nice vital option. But today we're hearing D-Jax is out. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I mean, I'm done with J.J. You guys can have him. Take him. I don't even want him anymore. Jalen Reagor's on IR. Alshon. Where's Alshon? Who knows? I mean, we need some help on the outside. You're not lying. And Dallas Goedert's on IR. It's rough for us right now. It is.
Yeah, look, Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey, J.J. Arcega. You named it right there. You guys picked up Hakeem Butler this week, right? Yeah. That's Mike's guy. Hakeem Butler, right? How much is he going to play? Who are those receivers going to be? And this is where I break that down, right? So, look, Mike said it earlier. We're going against our 1, 2, 3 cornerbacks, right? Obviously, with Emmanuel Mosley out with a concussion, Richard Sherman out on the IR, and then Richard Sherman out, Emmanuel Mosley steps in. Jason Verrett, Akello Witherspoon is hurt with a hamstring injury. So then you go to Dante Johnson, who is a guy that, is, like I told you on your show, he's either he's going to make a decent play per game. He's going to cause 2 or 3 PIs, 3 at the most, hopefully only. And then, or he's going to make, stupid bonehead mistakes where he gets beat. This is why that I feel so comfortable. If you guys would have had Deshaun Jackson, and even I'll give you even J.J. Arcega, right? Going up against these corners, yeah, I'd be a little bit more worried about that. But since you're so depleted at that wide receiver position, it doesn't take my fear from here to way down here. It takes it from here to maybe here because of the injuries at the receiver position, starting those corners that are on the outside. And then I forgot to mention K'Wan Williams possibly is questionable with a hip injury. Not sure if he's going to play or not. We'll find that out tomorrow. And then who's going to step in for him.
So what you're saying is that you're not worried because of how bad and depleted they are at the wide receiver position, right?
Correct.
Are they going to run one wide receiver sets all game?
No,
right? So they're going to bring other people in there. See, this is what – all right, see, I'm going to get killed for this. 49er fans are so hypocritical. We just beat the Giants with the backups of the backups of the backups. Like, we were literally pulling people off of the practice squad. These guys are out there, they're working, and they're making a name for themselves. This is what the NFL is all about, right? It's about taking advantage of the opportunity. You don't think that this is the Eagles' Super Bowl? This is the chance for them to tie for first. This is the chance for them to beat the NFC champs, the champions of the NFC, who just represented the entire division or conference in the Super Bowl, right? This is the biggest game of their year. And when's the last time they started 0-4? Like 2000, something crazy like that?
They won't start 0-4. They'll start 0-3-1. But let me be technical here, right? So yes, they had that. This is a must-win game for them, right? But do they have the talent to be able to beat the talent that we're putting on the field, even though they're backups as on our defensive side of the football, right? These are guys that have been playing in the league and are very disciplined. We talked about this on Ryan's show. This team, it comes down to discipline and the ability to play and next man up mentality. So that's where I disagree with you, Mike, as in, oh, well, this is a must-win game for them. Yes, it's 100% a must-win game for them, and they can become 0-3-1. But do they have the talent to do that while their receivers are down?
Don't you think the Giants were saying the same exact thing about the Niners last week?
Mm-hmm.
Right, Ryan? I mean, come on, man.
Look, let me interject here. Let me interject because Mike's making a good point, and Nick made a good point too. You know, we really don't have a lot of talent out on the wideout right now. But what I would say to that is, you have a clear short-term memory sample size in your head. Go back to last season. We got embarrassed by the Miami Dolphins. We're sitting at 5-7. And what does Carson Wentz do with throwing the ball to who? His top receiver was, Deontay Burnett, Greg Ward Jr., pretty much the same guys now. We were out of the count. What did he do? He put everything together. And we had, honestly, nobody. We were throwing the ball to local Wawa employees last season at the end of the year. And we came back, rallied off 4 straight, and won the division. The year before, we were out of the count. We rallied 3 off in a row with fourth stringers out there. Look, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying Doug Peterson has showed in the face of adversity, and Carson Wentz has showed not this year, but in the past years that he can do it with below average talent.
Look, y'all going out there playing with Wawa employees and then going to collect that free coffee. I see how y'all are. Right? When the Eagles win, you get that free coffee, Wawa coffee in the morning. But look, you make a great point, right, about the Dolphins. But we're not talking about the Dolphins defense here. The Niners defense with their backups is better than what the Dolphins defense was last year. So, that's where it comes in play. And like, look, most teams and most people would see things differently, as in, damn, like I just told you earlier, damn, we're down this player, we're down this player, we're down this player. When you line up against somebody, it's you versus that guy, right? And it comes down to who's the most disciplined and who feels the most comfortable in that position of where they're playing. These guys, I said it earlier, this team is not built for just starters. This team is built for depth as well. And our depth guys last year, people don't realize we had 13 guys last year injured and still made a Super Bowl run. Because of those meaningful snaps last year that players got are meaningful snaps that they're getting this year, and they're just filling into that role that they played last year. That's where I see a difference at. And that's why I'm not so worried about the Eagles playing, this week. And like I said, there's still worry in this game, but it didn't go from here all the way to the basement. It came down maybe 1 or 2 steps because I'm so confident in our depth pieces.
Yep. I agree. Like I said on my show, it speaks to the culture of what Shanahan is doing there. If you guys can win, rally off a few here in a row, you've already won 2. And then your starters come back healthy, you're going to be in a good position. So I don't think this is a blowover game or anything for the Niners. Their division is tough. But the Philadelphia Eagles, it's just when desperation hits, there's a certain point you got to win a damn football game. And, we just been embarrassing ourselves. I think we need this because, like I said, the road does not get any easier. We could end up starting 0-6 and 1 if we lose this game. So that's just where my head's at.
All right, so here's my take on all of this, right? You guys were both saying some really good stuff, right? I just think desperation and opportunity are 2 very scary things. The Niners play better on the road than they do at home. I think Nick will even agree with that, right? Like the last 2 seasons have shown that, right? Our 1 loss this year at home. Our 2 wins this year on the road. Last year, we lost 3 games. 2 of them were on the road. At home. 1 was on the road. Like this team is just really, really good on the road. Now, I understand there's no fans. It's going to be a little bit different, right? We talked about the offense of the Eagles playing against the defense of the 49ers. Here's where the real concerns for me come in. And I want to flip this on you guys, right? That defensive line is no joke. They have 2 players on that defensive line with more sacks this year than the Niners have combined. They have 2 players on that defense that have more pressures than what the Niners had in a total month of football last year. Just 2 guys have 22 pressures already this season. And listen to me. We don't have the quick release of Jimmy Garoppolo to bail us out. I know everyone's praising Nick Mullins, but Nick Mullins is about to be under pressure he has never seen before. I'm calling it like it is, okay? And then we're going to all of a sudden start pointing out the different flaws in these guys. I'm not even going to talk about the long snapper. I'll save that for our show because I don't want to bore Ryan up there. Right? But like there are things to be worried about And I don't know how the offense, the 49ers offense, is going to answer that Philadelphia defensive line. Nick, where's the weakest spot in our offensive line?
Yeah, I talked about this on RB show earlier. It's the right side of our line, right, between center, guard, and Mike McGlinchey, right? Obviously in pass pro, Mike McGlinchey, we talked about, he's been playing well in run game. Now, last week he stepped it up a little bit more, had a little bit of a better game. How well can Ben Garland bounce back, right? How well can Daniel Brunskill bounce back? Look, Mike McGlinchey's going up against Brandon Graham this week. That's no slouch. That's no joke, right? Brandon Graham. Then you add in Fletcher Cox as well. How are they going to line up? Where are they going to line up? Do they switch sides? Do they do those things, right? Look, we as Niners fans, I personally think Laken Tomlinson's one of the most underrated guys on this offensive line. Obviously, he's on the left side of the line. But then you have Trent Williams, Pro Bowl type player at left tackle. And then you go into the middle there. And where's Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox going to line up? Are they going to line up next to each other on the same right side? How does Kyle Shanahan answer to the pressure coming from the right side of the line, right? Is it going to be quick drops? Is it going to be Kittle stays in and blocks more and takes him out of the game in the pass game? Right now, Ryan, I know you said you were worried about Kittle, but is that something that Kyle Shanahan does? Does he keep Kyle Juszczyk in more to help protect and chip? And then run things to our better side of our line in Trent Williams. Mike, there's no reason to be nervous about those two guys, right? As in, like, you're 100% correct. Those guys are a force to be reckoned with in Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox. They're two beasts. But I have confidence in Kyle Shanahan and the way that he designs things to avoid those type of things, even if it's a Nick Mullins back there, not a Jimmy Garoppolo. And we talked about this when we played Cleveland last year, right? We were worried about their defensive line. What happened to that game, right? We ran opposite ways. Kyle Shanahan came up with things where, he was able to protect Jimmy Garoppolo in those games, in other ways in other aspects of the game. And bam, we win by 30 points, right? So I have 100% confidence in Kyle Shanahan scheming up something for those two guys. And if Eagles fans are just hoping that those two guys take over this football game and win this game for them, they're in for a long day because they're going to need other players to take this game over. It ain't just going to be them two.
What I will say is that I think you should be worried about the defensive front of the Eagles. You mentioned some of the starters. Don't forget a guy like Malik Jackson, who has been getting a lot of pressure. Even Josh Sweat. I think our depth speaks for itself on the D-line. Here's where I will say,
don't forget about Derek
Barnett as well. On the starting line, had a sack last week, a nice sack. Where I think we should be nervous and you guys should feel comfortable, like I said earlier on my show, is Jim Schwartz. The guy tends to have an inconsistent game plan. Last week, we went and hit Joe Burrow, sacked him 8 times. You might see Jim Schwartz come out, and you might see him just try to rush for the whole game. No, that's not what I saw last week. I saw him come out and have a lot of disguised blitzes, Jalen Mills, guys like Rodney McLeod rushing in. But in week 2 against the Rams, Jared Goff started off 13 for 13. So again, I can't really have my full faith in Jim Schwartz. And like I said, when personnel goes down, Avonte Maddox is out, Trevor Williams is out. Jim Schwartz tends to let up on the coverage, play soft, no press, and just his sticks defense, which gets, completely just obliterated every single time. So that's where I think you guys do have an advantage, but it all depends on Jim Schwartz's game plan. Get pressure on Nick Mullins.
The only reason I'm putting this comment up here, and Nick knows I'm not one of those people who respond to the chat during live shows too often, right? Like, unless we're having fun with each other. But why can't people say the same exact thing about the 49ers? The game that is giving everyone so much confidence is this last Giants game. And it's the Giants, guys. It's the winless Giants, right? So there's two sides to every coin. The Niners have not played a good team yet. And when they did, they lost. Now, I don't think that – I don't know the strength of schedule here. I don't know what teams the Eagles have played that are going to add up to, as good of a team or the team that the Niners have played. But here's what I do know. The Niners are badly injured. Okay. And if we came out of this stretch, if I called you and I said, hey, yo, I just spoke to my psychic, right? She told me that the first 4 weeks, we're only going to have Jimmy Garoppolo a game and a half. We're only going to have George Kittle for 2 games. We're going to only have Richard Sherman for 1 game. We're going to lose Ahkello Witherspoon, Emmanuel Mosley. And if I ran down this whole list and I said, but don't worry, we're going to come out of this 2-2 our first 4 games. Would you be happy with that? You're on mute, buddy.
Yeah, 100%.
You would, right?
I would definitely be happy with that. And the reason is because you talk about injuries, right? And we've talked about on our show that who's the most important person on this football team that the Niners need to win football games. And we've both and pretty much all have come down to and said it's Jimmy Garoppolo, right? But the thing about the Giants last week, and the reason that I'm more confident because of the Giants game last week, and just touch base on that as a Niners fan is I think that the defense of the Giants right now is better than what the Eagles have right now. Other than those 2 guys up front, the linebacking core is better in New York, and overall, the defensive line is better than just those 2 guys in Philadelphia. That's my take.
Let me just counter that real quick, and then I would love to get Ryan to chime in here. I think the Eagles' defensive line is a better pass rushing line than the Giants. I think the Giants are better at stopping the run, right? And I think that the Eagles' secondary is an emotional portion of their defense. There are times where that secondary, like I don't know, they like flick a switch and they're on it. I mean, you know how I felt about Roby Coleman. Like I wanted him. I was like, please don't bring him back. I want the Niners to get him, right? Like that's you know how I am about that. But then again, what do I know, right? Look at the corners that I favor on the 49ers. So ignore my opinion there. But I think that secondary is hit or miss. The linebackers I won't speak on because I don't know 100% about them. I'm not too certain about them. But I think their defensive line is better at rushing the passer. And I think that's the key to this game for them. Listen, our run game, no one's going to talk about it because we're winning games and we're putting up 30-plus points, right? I mean, our kicker single-handedly lost us 6 points last week, and we still put up over 35 points, right? So no one's going to talk about it. I mean, not our kicker, our snapper. But no one's going to talk about it. But the truth is the Niners have been struggling to run the ball all year long. So now you take away the pass game or you slow it down with a good pass rush, and you've been struggling to run the ball all year. What's the results on offense? Now what does this offense look like? So I'm going to give that to Ryan, and then I want Nick to respond to it. But that's what we're looking at here. The Niners haven't been able to run the ball all year long the way that we've been seeing them, other than one explosive play from Raheem Mostert, right? Like that was okay, boom, and then we finished the game. That was 80 yards off of one snap, and we finished the game with like 130 rushing yards. That's nothing for the rest of the game. You understand how little that is, right? For the rest of that game, we did 50-something. Like that's not enough. We haven't been able to get the run game established. And now, so we've been relying on the arms of our quarterbacks, the quick passes, quick hits. But if this Eagles defensive line can take that away, if they can slow it down, if they can just put a pause, create some hesitation in the mind of Nick Mullins, it's a completely different game. So I want to know what you guys' thoughts are on that.
Yeah. I think you hit it around the nail. Our pass rush, I think, is elite. There's been guys that have gone down on this line, but we still come out and perform. We still get pressure on the quarterback. But again, like I said, it all comes down to how Jim Schwartz kind of designs his game plan. I've seen him bring 5, bring 6, and you can get a quarterback like a Nick Mullins rattled a little bit. But is he going to do that consistently? Is he going to do it from the jump? Where I do think you guys are going to be able to exploit us, like I said, is in our linebacker. We might have to load the box, but still, a linebacker core headed by Nathan Gary, TJ Edwards, and Duke Riley is not good enough to stop a guy like George Kittle, man. It's not good enough.
You need to put Sean Bradley on the field, man.
I've been calling for Sean. He's been on special teams, man. That's it.
But go ahead, Mike.
I want to get your take on what I was saying. If they slow down our pass game, how do you think that the Niners react to it? Or do they try to do something different, like get the ball in the hands of the running backs quicker? Maybe the pass game becomes a New Orleans style pass game where they don't really run the ball. It's extended handoffs with passes to Drew Brees.
Look, I mean, if you shut down anybody's run game, it makes it harder on any football team. It's not even just the 49ers. If you make them one-dimensional to where they can't run, and that's even with a starting quarterback, it makes it different and difficult for an offense, right? You don't see many teams going out there and just throwing the ball, 40, 50 times and only running for 40, 50 yards in the rush game, and to be able to, overcome those type of things, right? Because you're becoming one-dimensional. It changes the defensive front. It changes what you can do more. You probably blitz a little bit more depending on your scheme that you run, things like that. So yes, of course, it's going to make the game a lot harder. The thing that I think benefits us, and I was talking about this with Ryan earlier, is how fast will Nick Mullins be able to recognize the defense, whether it's a blitz, what the read is, and how fast can he get rid of the football? That's going to come down to a lot with their defensive pass rush that they have. How well can they get the football out to, whether it's the running back, even a George Kittle on slants? How well are the end sweep motions? Are how well are those going to work with an eased back in Deebo Samuel or a Brandon Ayuk? Those type of things. How fast can Nick Mullins get rid of the football? How well is Nick Mullins' pocket presence because of the pressures that he's receiving? Now, we all know, right? Jimmy Garoppolo is a guy who tends to hold on to the football a tad too long with pressure, right? Trying to make something happen. The difference between Nick Mullins and Jimmy Garoppolo is Jimmy Garoppolo takes his eyes off of downfield. Nick Mullins, and from what I've seen so far this year, seems to keep his eyes downfield more and be able to get rid of the football and know where to go with the football. So therefore, I think that the Niners can overcome a better pass rush because of the fact of how good our running backs are with receiving and being able to get the football out of Nick Mullins' hand fast enough to not lose those types of yards. And then that's when you get into that secondary, not even just the second level in the linebackers, where Ryan just talked about it. Can you get the ball to Kittle? Because Kittle, these guys aren't holding up against the tight end. So those are factors that if you can't compete or keep somebody open or keep somebody closed off for more than 2 seconds or 3 seconds to allow your guys to get there, he's going to get rid of the football fast. And that's where it's going to come down to. Your line can only hold up for 2-3 seconds, but how well are your receivers or your backs getting open?
I agree. And again, I'm just playing devil's advocate a lot. I'm going back and forth with you guys. Callie makes a good comment here. He says, Mike, just remember Kittle was missing. He's a key for our run game. Now, I thought the blocking was pretty good from the tight ends and the fullbacks. And I don't know. I don't know. I won't know until I see. That's the truth. I don't know. All right, guys. So we've talked about the offense. We've talked about the defense. Do you guys even want to dive into the special teams? Because I do think that we see a difference in special teams this coming game. Like I said, the Niners have replaced a long snapper. We'll get into that more on the next show, but that could be a difference. We saw what happened with Robbie Gould when we were going through long snapper after long snapper at the beginning of last season. Remember, after the holdout, there were 3 or 4 different long snappers here, and Robbie Gould was kicking at a career low 63%. So, I mean, what do you want to talk about the special teams? You want to save that for later? How do you guys want to do this?
Yeah, I mean, I think special teams is going to be huge. I think, we talked about this earlier. 2 big things that are going to be that are going to be crucial to get a win in this game. And obviously, field positioning is going to be one of them, and then the turnover game, right? So where do you receive the ball or where do you get the ball? Special teams is going to be huge because of field position, right? You give good field position to Kyle Shanahan, 90% of the time he's going to score, right? And, Eagles-wise, if you back yourself up with depleted defensive line and second and third players, or fourth players, I should say, third and fourth players out there at corner, you have that chance to not allow them to drive the whole field because you're only giving up 30 yards and those end up in points, right? So obviously with the long snapper, we saw it last week. It missed us, 2 extra points and a field goal with the long snap. The week 1 we had a block punt. Those type of things, can change a game output, or right. So how is it going to turn out with the new long snapper? Mike, you're 100% correct. I was trying to defend Robbie Gould those years and saying it's the long snapper because he's not used to him. Like it's different, right? The snaps aren't right. This long snapper's in because Kyle Nelson was serving a 10-game suspension, right? For PEDs last year. So he missed 10 games. And then, Kyle Nelson, who is no longer here, who just got released, came back, and Robbie Gould's field goals were like money, right? The rest of the year. So look, I'd sit here and lie to you and said I'm not worried about it because I'm on record saying that these are reasons that Robbie Gould was fucking up before. Excuse my language, but special teams has a huge part in it, right? You can't settle for field goals. You have to be able to put it into the end zone, and those extra points are meaningful, especially when you come down to a game where the Philadelphia Eagles are coming in here, like you guys said, and this is their Super Bowl to them. This is what they need to boost themselves in the NFC East, being only one game behind. So yes, it means a lot. Special teams. People don't realize how big special teams is, whether it's field goals, long snaps, punts, or field position. It's huge in the NFL. Field position is everything.
Yep.
I want to hear Ryan's take on the special teams of his team, but before I give that to you, I'm going to give you two things to put together here. I listened to a lot of Doug Peterson pressers since the game ended, and it's not – some of the stuff I heard isn't cool for a head coach to be saying. I don't know how much of what I'm talking about I won't preface anything, but if you've heard anything, I want you to say some of the stuff that you think that your head coach was out of line for, maybe some things that a head coach shouldn't say to the media. And then, like I said, start with special teams, but then take it there, and then we'll wrap this thing up because I don't want you guys to, like I said, I know you just did another show. I don't want you guys to run too long.
Yeah, I think the special teams is huge. I was just talking to Nick about this earlier. I feel like the Eagles have not made game-changing plays, whether it's a return on a punt, whether it's, a blocked punt, a blocked field goal, something like that. There has been none of that this year. Nick talked about field position. We have been absolutely terrible in field position. We lost week 1. We kept giving the ball. We kept turning the ball over and giving them the longest drive for the Washington football teams in terms of scoring drive was 48 yards in week 1. That can't happen, especially against the Shanahan offense. And I was telling Nick earlier, we've turned the ball over 8 times. You guys have turned it over once. Our cornerbacks have 5 picks in the last 21 games. We're not making those big game-changing plays. And a guy like Jake Elliott, you talk about Robbie Gould, Jake Elliott, he's kind of feeling – I think he's kind of feeling disrespected after he went out and hit 3 field goals last week, and his coach had a chance to go ahead and win a game against the Bengals and didn't go for it. So I think Jake Elliott's going to be huge in this game. I think he's going to have to hit some big kicks this game. Now, in terms of what you talked about with Doug Peterson, absolutely agree. I didn't know if you guys would bring that up. Doug's team's lost. He's not Doug anymore. I don't know what happened to Doug. Number one, he said that Miles Sanders didn't get the ball in the second half because he was fatigued. Number two, he said he will not give up his play calling duties. Doug, you're not getting it done. There's no creativity. We talked earlier about Kyle Shanahan. 65% of the plays include pre-snap motion on offense. We're doing none of that. We have no creativity. We are too predictable at this point. We're way too predictable. And number three, Doug just doesn't seem like the guy to hold his guys accountable right now. He's not holding anybody accountable. He's not calling his quarterback out. Donovan McNabb got benched in the second half against the Ravens back in 03 or in 08. And he went to the Pro Bowl. He went to the Pro Bowl that year. And look, when I look at Doug Peterson right now, we have a bunch of offensive assistants. We don't have an offensive coordinator. A lot of people are saying that Frank Reich was the mastermind behind the Super Bowl. Doug Peterson has to delegate his power. He has to delegate his power. He's not holding anybody accountable. And at this point, Doug Peterson just doesn't sound like himself anymore. The 2017 Doug that would be aggressive, that would go for it, that would really the guy in the face of adversity that would step up and galvanize a troop. He doesn't feel that way anymore.
The biggest take that I heard from him, Mike, was the whole talk about Mullins, right? Went on one of our pressers, and he was like, those guys are just lucky to have two starting quarterbacks over there. Like, Like, is that a blow at Carson Wentz? Is that like a blow at Jalen Hurts? Like, that was another question that, you're 100% right, because even in that Super Bowl, Nick Foles is the one that called the play to win the game, pretty much the Philly special.
Yeah.
He's like, coach, let's just go for it. Let's be aggressive. Let's just do this. Philly special, right? So, look, Doug Peterson, you're right. Even like when I see him on TV here or on Comcast Sportsnet or whatever it is, or whatever it's called now, NBC Sports, whatever. He just seems like he's just
going through the motions, right?
He's not that upbeat Doug Peterson anymore. So, it's interesting that you asked that, Mike, because the biggest takeaway from all of it, some of those things you shouldn't say, right? Oh, I didn't play him because he was fatigued. Like, why are you putting your running back out there like that? If you're not getting the job done, fine. We hear Kyle Shanahan in his first year or two, people were like, he needs to get an offensive coordinator. He's got too much on his plate, right? We're trying to get an offensive coordinator to call plays instead of Kyle Shanahan, right? And now we look back at that like, oh my God, what the hell were we thinking? But it's not because of him not being able to call plays. It was just, you got too much on your plate, coach, right? Mm-hmm. So does Doug Peterson have too much on his plate? And the media and people are realizing that and saying, hey, would you be willing to hire somebody else to call plays for you or do those type of things? As a head coach, you're going to try to be headstrong and say, no, I'm good. I got this, blah, 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 whatever. And then the 49ers are just lucky to have two starting quarterbacks over there. Those are three things that, I agree with that you guys talked about. And, look, we don't really hear Kyle Shanahan call players out, right? On any means of coaching or things like that. But like I said, it's also, I think, because Kyle Shanahan has been through that, right? That adversity, right? You guys are fresh off a Super Bowl win. What was that, 2017, 2018? Yeah. 2017. So you guys are fresh off a Super Bowl win, and you did it with a backup quarterback, and I think it kind of boosts his confidence going into 2018. And then, then you get injured in 2019, and now you guys have a lot of injuries, and it's like Doug's like, how do I do this? Like, I'm down so many players. But where Kyle Shanahan has built and did that, and now he's like, okay, well, we got to play with starter or backup players, but I did that last year too, that just a lot of people don't realize that how many players were out for the 49ers last year. And I think he has a lot more confidence. And he says, you hear our players say it all the time. Kyle Shanahan is the biggest confidence booster in this locker room. He believes in us. He believes in no matter whether we're at the top of the depth chart or the bottom of the depth chart, he believes that all of us can do the same thing and continue to win football games. And they say when your coach instills that confidence in you, you feel like you can run through a brick wall, basically. And you go out there and you play for that guy. And then Kyle Shanahan, on top of that, puts these guys in the position to be successful. So he plays them for their strengths. Now, I don't know if that's happening in Philadelphia, right? So that could be a difference maker too.
I don't think it is. And one more thing I wanted to add. The next morning, or actually, right after the game, just after Doug Peterson, I don't know if he had a brain fart or what, but he decides not to go for that field goal, as I alluded to. He settles for a tie, right? And, immediately after the game, when they ask him they drill him, first question. And even the next morning on Philly radio, which he always goes on, he immediately reversed his decision to go for it there. And look, I actually was not mad about the tie given our division and given our situation. We're a half game out of first. But you do not reverse your methodology right away. And then the next morning, he said basically, if I had to do it over again, now thinking about it, I probably would have gone for it, or at least thrown a fourth down bomb. You do not do that as a head coach. It shows that you don't know, like you're not in that current time in which things are happening too fast for you. You know what I mean? So I would not have done that.
Well, and what it goes to as well is it's saying that you didn't have confidence in your players. Yep. Your players read this, like you just said with Elliott, right? So, and after the game, he's like, but if I miss that field goal there, they're in good field position, they win the game. But you have to be aggressive when you're in a division the way you are. People would kill people, not kill people, but you know what I mean, like to not play for a tie, right? Yep. And even though you're in your division and your division is a weaker division in the NFL right now, no disrespect whatsoever, but the records speak for itself. But you're saying that, okay, now then the next day you come out and you say, well, I should have did that. When the day before you threw your kicker under the bus and you said, if he misses that field goal, it puts me in a worse situation and they win the football game. And then you're complaining at me here, why did I kick the field goal and not punt it away? So it's kind of like baba on both sides.
How much time was left when you guys decided to punt instead of go for a field goal or
19
the
seconds.
Hail Mary? Right. So you're basically saying, hey guys, we accept the tie. Let's just go home. Let's just get out of here. Right. And then for him, that's the comment that really pissed me off. Nick knows that I'm a guy who watches and listens to pressers, and I dig so much deeper than what they say on the surface level. When your head coach is second guessing himself that soon after a game, there's problems, there's trouble in paradise. And that's what I wanted you to get to. I was listening to you talk about all the different things he said, and I'm like, please let him get to it. Please let him get to it. I'm so glad you pulled it up, Ryan, because that's what bothered me the most. It's that, if you watch the NFL long enough, you're going to disagree with coaches' decisions multiple times throughout a season, right? Yeah. And then a coach 90% of the time gets asked about his decision that you disagreed with at a presser, and he gives you a very logical explanation as to why he did what he did. Doug Peterson didn't do that. Nope. At all. And I was like, whoa. Like, for real? Like, this is what you're going to do now? Like, you punted. You had nothing to lose. Just attempt. You got a kicker who made a 61-yarder last year, right? Like, this is the guy who did that to win a game. Like, what was it, week 3 or 4? So do it. Try it. Or do the Hail Mary, right? Throw a pass. Hope for a hold. All you needed was a 5-yard penalty. Anything, something small, right? There were so many options. He punted. And then immediately he second-guessed himself to the media. Yep. Bro, something's not right. Something's going on upstairs. I don't know if it's Howie versus Doug, but something's going on over there. I want to get your thoughts on it, and I see Nick wanted to jump into. I'm sorry.
Yeah. When I went and gave my thoughts the day after, when I started to think about it, I'm like, Jake Elliott in 2017 hits a game-winning 61-yarder. And by the way, what the biggest problem was, before that field goal was set up to be 64 yards, Matt Pryor got a false start. You cannot do that. It was a 59-yard field goal attempt. You can't get a false start. We are very undisciplined. 11 penalties, by the way. But that's just an aside. Jake Elliott has hit a game-winning 61-yarder. He was 3 for 3 on the day. And more importantly, Doug Peterson's mentality since he got to Philly was, let me be aggressive. I mean, this guy goes for it on 4th down and 4 from midfield. He doesn't care. And when you're in that situation with Joe Burrow on the opposite side, the Cincinnati Bengals, it's not even the fact that we tied. It's that you played to lose. You cannot have that mentality when you need your season to revolutionize here, when you need things to flip around. That's kind of just telling your players, I kind of quit on you. And I don't agree with that at all, especially with Doug, the kind of culture that he has built. He is not that type of coach. And I don't know why he's second-guessing himself.
Well, the other thing I was going to say is, because when you told me the time, 19 seconds, like, you have no faith in your defense, who just sacked Joe Burrow 8 times, to kick a field goal. You're still, like, you could still end up with the tie, but you take that shot to win and then have confidence in your defense to shut them down in 19 seconds. Like, I could see if there was 2 minutes left, that's a big difference. But 19 seconds, you're having no faith in your defense. You take the confidence out of your kicker. Okay, he can't make a 62-yarder. We're gonna tie this game. B, let's try for it and have confidence in our defense to shut you down with 19 seconds. And then, depending on how many timeouts you guys had, I don't even know how many timeouts you guys had, or if any. Probably, what do you get, 1 or 2 in overtime, second overtime? So, what kind of message, like you said, is that sending to your team? Not only your kicker, but your defensive side as well.
Well, and my biggest problem was why he didn't defend himself on it. He said, I probably should have done it, right? So here's some quick math, right? We know that the field is 100 yards, but there's 10-yard end zones. So you're actually dealing with 120 yards, not just 100 yards, right? So you attempt a 64-yarder and you miss, they get the ball back, and their immediate attempt is only 56 yards. He could have explained that. But that's not what he did. So I don't know if that's what he knew at the time when he made the decision to not attempt it. Because look, if we miss this, they get the ball back. They can run 1 or 2 plays really quick, and they're already in field goal range, right? Like if they miss that and they just decide, boom, let's kick a field goal, it's a 56-yarder, right? That's just how it would have worked, right then and there. They get 5 or 6 yards, it's only a 50-yarder. So all right, let's play for the tie. I understand that, right? But it was the fact that when he went to the podium, he second guessed himself. I didn't get that at all. I don't understand that. I'll never understand it. If he went to the microphone and said what I just said, I think everybody in Philly would have agreed with him. A 64-yard field goal, you got like a 10% chance of making that. If we miss it, they get the ball back right away, and it's only a 56-yard attempt for them with the wind on their side. So what he should have said, their kicker Elliott would have been kicking into the wind, not with the wind, and then they got a 56-yard attempt going in their direction with the wind. You say that, and Philly understands. Then all of a sudden they get you, but instead you second guess what you did. They don't want that in Philly. That's not how they get down out here. It's know what you're doing or get out of town. Like that's how it's get down and late. Like that's it. That's how they play out here. So it's very different for me. But I have no more thoughts on it.
I have one more thought, is that if I'm Carson Wentz, and we took a timeout, I believe, right before that whole thing went down. If I'm Carson Wentz, I'm going up to Doug Peterson and I'm saying, I'm staying on the field. We're keeping the offense on the field. Maybe we throw one downfield and get a DPI. But it didn't seem like Carson. It seems like Carson doesn't even have that kind of, belief or motivation or anything. It's like we just settled. And I feel like, some of these more established quarterbacks would have said, no, I'm keeping the offense on the field. I'm not settling for that. That's just my final thought on that.
Yeah, like I said, just final thought on that is, I would have tested it because your defense balled out that game, as in sack wise. Look, you go out there one play, you get a sack, you're taking 6 seconds off the clock, and now they're 6-7 yards back more, and it's not a 56-yard field goal anymore. So you have the faith in your defense for that one play, and you still could have ended in a tie, or anything could have happened. You could have got an interception, you could have got a fumble. Especially how bad you were on Joe Burrow's ass the entire game. So that's where I think we made a difference.
Is it true you guys had 18 quarterback hits in that game?
Yeah, we were all over them, all over. And that's the thing. We won almost every category. The Bengals actually went 3 for 13 on third down. We were 10 for 20. We had more yards, more everything except turnovers, which, can decide the game. But just looking at that game, looking back on it, the Bengals tried to give us that game 5 times. We just didn't take it. And we're not taking advantage of that opportunity.
Bro, my quarterback gets hit 18 times. Wait, can I ask stupid Mike? Bear with me, guys. Do the sacks count as quarterback hits also? Like, do those stats overlap, or is that separate? If you get a sack, it doesn't count as a quarterback hit. If you don't know, then that's fine. I don't know either. But if those are 2 separate stats, that means that Nick, you're on mute. If those are 2 separate stats, that means that quarterback got hit 26 times.
Yeah, they're 2 different categories. So
no way my quarterback is getting hit that much.
Yeah, 26 times, dude. That's a lot. Like, especially how many times did he drop back, right? So what did he throw the ball? 40 times?
Yeah, 30-something times. And Joe Mixon wasn't even a factor in the game. He wasn't even a factor.
Yeah, so that's crazy, man. That's like, wow. I wish we had Cincy on the roster, on the schedule this year. I feel so bad for Burrow, man.
The tie felt worse than a loss. The tie felt worse than a loss because it's not looking, at the whole outlook of things, but just from like a fan standpoint, going through that game back and forth, and to finish with the Cincinnati Bengals in a tie. I'm telling you, this game, it's all or nothing right now in Philly. We got the Steelers and the Ravens up after this game, and it's not going to get pretty. It's not going to get pretty.
That's more of a reason why it's a must win. That's going to do it for us, man. I don't have anything else. I don't know if you guys have anything you want to add on.
Yeah, I mean, look, we gave score predictions on the other show, so I want to get Ryan's score prediction here. Well, I'll give my other score prediction once we go into our other show after this. But Ryan, tell everybody what you're thinking, man, how you think this game pans out, and we'll end it from that.
Yeah, I'm picking the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game by a score of 21-17. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't think it's going to be a desperately low-scoring game, but I just think you're going to see a lot of field goals in this game. I don't think Nick Mullins is going to have some crazy day. I don't think Carson Wentz is going to have a crazy day, but we have to do what it takes to win a game, and I think it's going to go down to the fourth quarter. Like I said, the Eagles have been terrible in the second half, which is why I'm hoping that we can get out, maybe finally get a turnover, get something to get us in good field position, get a score early. I think it goes down to the fourth quarter, back and forth, couple field goals, and I think Nick Mullins gets a drive to try to win a game, but the Eagles make a big stop on the road. As long as Jim Schwartz does not revert to his sticks defense, as long as he doesn't play soft, I think we have what it takes. And I think the only reason I'm picking the Eagles win is the 49ers are a better team by far right now. But when desperation sets, when everything is on the line, I think you got to pull one out. If you go 0-3-1, I mean, it's over in Philly. It's over for the year.
I'm not going to give my score prediction until the next show. But Ryan, man, I do want to thank you for jumping on here with us. I know, like I said, I know you guys crossed over earlier, and it's great. And anytime you need us, let us know. We got your back, man. It was wonderful having you on the show. You spoke from an honest place. I mean, how many guys pick their team to win but say, hey, by the way, you guys are the better team, but the situation and circumstance are why I have to pick this team right now. If you can't respect that, guys, I don't know. And no, I saw you guys in the chat. Oh, Mike is sucking up the RB. Listen, he's not close enough to intimidate me into being on his side, okay? I understand circumstance and situational football. This entire game is going to be situational football, and that's what is throwing me off a little bit with making my decision. But I do have some thoughts that I did not share on our show, so make sure you guys tune in for our show coming up in another 5 to 10 minutes, and we're going to break it down for you guys. Nick, anything else before we get up out of here?
Yeah, Ryan, man, I appreciate you coming on here, guys. This is his channel right here, Philly Take with RB. So make sure you guys go over there and hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Check out all his content as well. Send an Eagles fan if you got an Eagles fan friend over there as well. Let everybody know about Ryan and what he does here on YouTube. And we appreciate you coming on, Ryan. Much support to you. Just like Mike said, anything you ever need, hit us up. Once again, I appreciate it, but you guys are going down this week, man.
Hey, man, and I just want to say thank you to both of you for bringing me on the show. This is the best Niners channel on YouTube. Got to represent, even though you guys are from around the area. Good luck to you guys for the rest of the season, man. But I'm sorry, Nick, man. We have to win one this week. If not, look, if not, you won't hear from me for a while, man. You won't hear from me. But, hey, man, appreciate it. And I see a lot of people talking smack in the chat. Just remember this, man. Just remember when all adversity sets in, the Eagles come to play. You want me to bring out the dog mask? I'll do it, man. I'll do it. But, hey.
Let's make a friendly bet here, man. You're not very far from me. You're not very far from me. So let's swap jerseys of whose team wins on a show.
What jersey you giving me? A Nick Mullins jersey?
Nah. I'll give you whatever you want.
Whatever I want. I might have to take you up on that. But again, I'll give you.
No. I want you to wear a Niners jersey on your show if we win, and I'll wear an Eagles jersey on our show if y'all win. All right. We can just swap jerseys. We're close by, man. We can drop it off.
Oh my God.
All right, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'll wear an Eagles jersey if we lose this week on our show, on our Tuesday show. And then you can wear a Niners jersey on your show and a little bit of a sidekick bet there.
Hey, we could do it, man. I'm down.
Let's do it.
I'm in.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let me tell you, if I had to wear it, you getting that jersey back with all kinds of holes poked.
No, I would not do that.
You're gonna get cigar burns in it if it's mine. Like, oh, sorry, the ash fell off, and oh my God. Oh, Nick, you are a brave soul, man. That's a lot of faith right there. Holy smokes, man.
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it, man.
Let's go, man.
The comments keep coming in, guys, but that's going to do it for this show. Make sure you guys tune in. We have another show coming to you guys in less than 5 minutes. So make sure you guys are locked in.
8:15.
Huh?
8:15 start time.
Oh, we bumped it back. I'm sorry. Okay, cool. So make sure you guys are locked in and you're ready for it. Sean Shepard, thank you for the contribution here. Shout out to RB for being a good sport and coming on to the enemy's territory and coming in here to hold his team down, man. I respect it, man. I tried to make sure that you weren't the only one out there on that ledge. Next show, I got to tell people how I really feel. I'm sorry, man. I can't do it for too much longer. So we'll see what happens, though, man. Good Nope, don't even mean that. I can't say good luck, but we will talk to you soon, man. I can't wait to see how this bet works out between you and Nick.
Hey.
That's gonna do it for us, man, guys. Make sure you guys are locked in, subscribe. Philly take with RB. Make sure if you're an Eagles fan, you get over there and subscribe. If you guys enjoy this content, you want to hear what he has to say about maybe some common opponents that will play later on in the season. We have to still play Dallas. He might have some feedback. Go and subscribe. Check out his show over there. All right, guys. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications for us here at Nothing But Niners, and that's going to do it. Prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
But always remain faithful.
We out of here. Peace.